Everybody, welcome to Food Fight Friday at the Aid Station. We are 2 days past Christmas and only 4 days away from starting 2025. And we have a very special edition for you today. Adam Lee, my co host from Community Trail Running, is going to be given 3 food choices in which he's going to have to decide which food to eat, which food to carry, and which food to toss. Before I bring on those options for him, I want to remind you that you can find this show and 8 others on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Some of you might be watching me live right now and wondering why I have my hat on this way and why I am not wearing our Run Try Bike hat. And it's because today's edition is the school lunch episode. And my guy, Steve Buscemi, and I look a lot alike, don't we? Well, how do you do, kids?
Narc. Oh.
So as I said, it is the school lunch edition, and Adam's choices are going to be chicken nuggets with tater tots, rectangle pizza, and cheese zombies, which, if you don't know what they are, kind of look like this. So your rectangle pizza, we all know, a cheese
Look at
zombie.
this production value. Oh my God. I'm going right over Jason. I'm losing my mind here.
The cheese zombie is sort of a grilled cheese, but is in more of a bread that's like a phyllo dough than regular white bread. It's a specialty, from what Lori tells me, in the Spokane, Washington, and Washington in general area. So those are your 3 food choices: the rectangle pizza, the cheese zombie, and the chicken nuggets with tater tots. And we have to set up the scene. So I am going to be racing the last person standing.
I'm still just blown away. That graphic, holy.
We're going to get a sponsor someday, dude. This is happening. Production value through the roof.
Oh my God, throw your money at it now.
Start writing the checks and make sure plenty of commas are in there before the decimal point. So here's your scene. I'm going to be racing at the last person standing on New Year's Eve, and it's a 1.4 mile course. And so I'm going to set it up that it is the 12th hour. So I'm going on what would be about 50 miles at this point. And now you have at the aid station your choice to eat the cheese zombie, the chicken nuggets with tater tots, or the rectangle pizza. And then you have to toss one, and one you have to carry on the 1.4 mile loop till you come back. Floor is all yours.
Okay, so I'm gonna push this whole production thing immediately. Do you have the power to bring it back up? Can we look at it while we talk about it?
Sure can.
Oh my God.
Your wish is my command.
Ladies and gentlemen, holy geez Louise. Look at these choices. Okay, so first of all, when you set me up earlier today, I was like, oh, he's gonna have some just brutal decisions. Like I'm sure he's gone down the well, and this is not at all it. Like rectangle pizza, cheese zombie. Okay, so I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'm going to toss the chicken fingers and tots, which when you gave it as the first choice, I was like, yeah, all the way. But the cheese zombie and the pizza, and you know what's even worse is like the pizza's going to give me heartburn, but I don't even care because I'm going to eat that like right away anyway. And then I'm going to carry that cheese zombie because I don't know what it is. And there's no better plan in a race than to take a food you've never had before and use that as your fuel along the way. So I think that's definitely the right plan, especially for the last person standing. Like, phew, I don't see what could go wrong. So I'm solid in those choices. And I was thinking about this earlier today, and I wonder sometimes if, like, just thinking about Food Fight Friday at the aid station, if you ever like kind of get down about it, just knowing that like I always have the right answers and you have to go against me every week. And like, I know it's probably a bit of a burden because you organize this thing and we go through it all the time, and you know that I'm going to whoop you, but this is what we do. So
I do often worry because I know you're getting older and your back is going to start to give out because you have to carry the show so much. So I do have some concerns some days. But as a 51-year-old, if you need any tips on how to, keep your back strong as you carry the show throughout the rest of the rest of its life, let me know.
I think we know in all reality it's your back holding this whole thing up. But I definitely appreciate it. But yeah, those are some great choices. I love the graphic. I am all in. What are you feeling for this thing? Oh, and before you get going, we have to shout out Alan James Jr. because they asked for a shout out. So shout out Alan James.
Yes, shout out to you, Alan James. Thanks for joining us over on YouTube. Appreciate it. So, as my good friend Steve Buscemi and I have been in discussions, by the way, this is all imaginary in my head. I'm imagining this guy here and myself, we're going to eat the rectangle pizza as well, because we're both from New York, and we're going to just inhale that rectangle pizza. We're going to carry the nuggets and the fries, and here's why. I figure if I need to distract the other runners so they drop out sooner rather than later, I could just put them on different little spots along the 1.4-mile course so they have to slow down to pick it up and eat it, which will give me an advantage. And then this way I'll just carry the cheese zombie I'll toss the cheese zombie, because the cheese on there is that straight craft stuff that you have to peel open and throw it in there.
Yeah, that's the good stuff from
yeah, it is the good
right
stuff.
There, man. Put some
but
HP
it's
sauce on there.
it's also the stuff that's going to have me in the Porta-John missing the start of the next 20-minute loop. So I have to toss the cheese zombie and use the chicken nuggets and French fries to my advantage, and leave them on the loop as we go by. And hopefully people will stop to pick them up and eat them, and delay their process of getting through the 1.4-mile loop in 20 minutes. That's the plan.
I think you've got a solid plan there, because I might be the one that would be distracted by some. Especially if I decided to toss them and there they were along the way.
Exactly.
Like, that's the cheat code, man.
If you take the cheese zombie with you and you lay it out, people might be like, what the hell is that? And they'll just keep moving. But everybody knows what a chicken nugget and taters look like. I mean, it could be the perfect distraction fuel for me and set me up to win. Plus, we're 12 hours into this. Remember, we're at 50 miles, give or take. And so people are going to want to fuel up, and they're tired of eating gels and other bars and other kinds of stuff. So got to go with that. That's the rule for me.
That's pretty solid. I can't disagree too much, apart from, like, it's not what I said, so it's wrong. But that's
one of the things I failed to introduce at the beginning of the show is it's not just the school lunch edition because of Steve Buscemi, but because I've often said that had you and I gone to grade school together, we'd have been in trouble. And I could see it now. It's tater tot and McNugget day, and we're on opposite ends of the cafeteria, slinging them at each other, trying to catch them with our mouths, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. Anything you could throw across the room would be good, and we probably wouldn't be allowed to be on the same side of the room, so we'd have to get at each other somehow or other.
It would easily be detention for the rest of the year. As a matter of fact, we'll just show up to detention. Don't even bother assigning it. We'll just be there.
If I don't know if you ever had the whole, like, when you walked into the room and the teacher was like, "Oh, great, Jason, I have your desk for you." Like, I think we would get a lot of that.
Dude, I don't know if I've told this story before, but when I was in high school, we had a teacher whose penmanship was awful, like just awful. And he went to write on the board, "The pen is mightier than the sword." And the word pen and is were a little bit too close together. And now as a 51-year-old, I can't stop laughing at it. But as a 14-year-old, are you kidding me? It's like, detention for you. And I'm like, detention for me. Look at your handwriting. You're awful. You should be in detention too.
Right? Marching down there. Penis sword, penis sword. Worth it. Worth it.
Dr. Korn was his name. Dr. Korn, if you're still alive and you're hearing this, thanks for a good time back in high school, man. Oh, my God. What was the worst thing, or what was the funniest thing you've ever gotten detention for?
I think I got put in my place. This is like a good ego story, actually. There was a big guy this is probably grade 5, I want to say. and we were on the out on the field playing tackle football at lunch. And when the teachers weren't looking, it was tackle. And when they were looking, you'd play tag or whatever. You get it. And he like absolutely destroyed me. And he was a big guy, and I called him fat, right? And he just fucking walked over and he just leveled me. And like I was like, okay, like I totally went and ratted him out, and was like, I don't know why he hit me and all this, right? And we get in the office, and they're like, and he's like, well, you called me fat. And the teacher looks at me, he's like, she's like, is that true? You didn't tell me that. I was like, yeah, it's totally true. Like, she was basically like, like, okay, well, you kind of deserve that. Like, you guys are both off to detention. And like, I got to chat with him some more. We were like classmates, and we played sports like together or whatever before as well. But like, yeah, it was definitely like a lesson learned. You don't call people names, like you can do all kinds of things. But yeah, and just like especially someone way bigger than your ass, because they'll just drop you.
Oh my goodness. For those of you who are listening and or watching, drop your greatest hits when it comes to getting detention in grade school. We want to share a laugh with you. Adam, thanks for joining me, brother. We'll see you in 2025 on the next Food Fight Friday at the